The last I heard from you, and it's been a while, so you might have completely changed your mind. You were thinking a cleric of the hunt domain.
Still am thinking a cleric of the hunt domain.
Okay.
I wanted to. I think I tried to play a cleric. Oh, because we tried to do the giant.
Yeah, Storm King. Oh, were you in that? Yeah.
For like the first 2 sessions or something, I was like, I'm gonna do cleric, and then that didn't work out, and so
yeah,
I'm going to do it now.
Yeah, I think we only did that for like maybe 3 or 4 sessions.
I think it was. It was pretty short. I don't know if we made it out of the first village.
yeah. That kind of disintegrated fast, but I don't remember why now. But
I think everybody just got busy.
Yeah.
It just didn't work, unfortunately. Oh well.
So you're gonna try cleric again, huh?
I'm gonna try cleric again. Hunt domain sounds fun because my classic thing that I always love is a ranger, so that kind of blends the two together.
Yeah, totally.
So I'm thinking that just a human.
Okay. Just a human.
Just a human. No one ever plays humans.
You are the only human in the group so far. So
that's the way to go.
I think you will be the only human.
You can always be unique by being the most mundane in D&D.
Yes. Now we do have a lot of quote half breeds. We've got a tiefling, an Aasimar, and a half elf.
No flying elves?
No flying elves. Yeah, I'm amazed. Nobody jumped at that.
Yeah, you give somebody flight at level 2 and nobody takes it.
Yeah. I don't know. Nobody wants it. Well, it's open, Craig. If you want to be a flying elf cleric.
I don't know if I need that. That's overly complicated for my life. I'm good with what I'm doing here.
It works really well with archery. I got actually Nikki played a little bit. I started running Curse of Strahd here in Bellingham, and we only played for a couple months, and then we lost some players. But Nikki was playing a Wind Elf Ranger with archery, and it works really well for archery.
Well, yeah, because you float up above everybody. Yeah, you can't get attacked.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, it worked pretty well.
Yeah. No, I think I'll just stick with my little human.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. It's good that someone's playing a straight up human, kind of tie everything together a little bit.
There we are.
It's like most of the people around are humans, and yet none of the player characters are.
None of the players are. No, there's never been a very good, at least in none of the D&D games I've ever played, has it ever been very representative of the population.
Yeah, yeah. You know, when I first started running 5th edition, I had a lot of people playing humans for that feat at first level, but now not so much. So
no, not so much.
I don't know why that is, but
you give interesting options and people will take them, I guess.
Yeah, that's probably part of it. It's like, I can play this race I've never played before. I want to do that.
Yeah, it's something new, right?
Yeah.
So that as far as a background, I was thinking archaeologist actually.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty sweet background.
It's cool background.
Yeah.
I'm like, this totally makes complete sense.
Yeah.
So,
I was so excited when I saw that.
So they wrote it for Primordia. They just didn't know it.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. And an anthropologist, I'm sure, is a little up your stream. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
But no, I'm going to do an archaeologist. I have this sort of idea of this character. He's like basically was a famous archaeologist way back in the day. Is now teaching archaeology at the university that I assume is in Elandria.
Oh, yeah.
And he's being defunded because now that there's nowhere to go, archaeology is sort of seen as a pointless endeavor.
Okay.
Being that there's no delves, no ruins to delve into, no dungeons to go to, because everything is shut off, right?
Yeah.
So the amount of archaeology and the amount of people that are going into archaeology as a field of study is really low. And so he's recently been fired from it from his tenured position because they shut down the entire department. And so he's super angry and crusty about it. And he's going out and sort of, screw you guys. I'm going to find my own ruins and prove you all wrong.
You're going to Indiana Jones it, right?
Sort of, but yeah. I'm picturing like Indiana Jones in the sixth one that's coming out when like Harrison Ford is really old and angry.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Concept. Yeah.
Nice.
So, yeah.
That's great.
Just generally bitter, but out to prove something with all these young adventurers, even though half of them will probably be double my age.
That's really cool. I'm glad that there's someone that's going to have a good motivation to like really get into the ruins and stuff. That's really cool.
Yeah. It seemed like it kind of wrote itself. It was pretty easy.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And then, if you discover some stuff out there, then maybe they'll reopen your department and you can retire back to teaching again. And you've had enough adventuring.
Well, I've had enough adventuring. Now I just need to go and get the department open back up again.
Yeah. You're doing field work right now. That's right. What we'll call it.
Field work.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Does D&D field work still involve those little brushes?
It definitely could.
It definitely could. All right, sounds awesome. Good. Yeah. So I don't know what you want to do. I haven't actually done one of these preludes with you before, so.
It's really just kind of fleshing out your character.
Okay.
Is what I've been doing with most people, just making sure that all your questions are answered. And do you have any thoughts about a deity that you're?
Oh shoot! I did, and then you said somebody else was taking it. So can you just run me through what you think would sort of make sense? I'm gonna go into your little doc here, but.
Yeah, so the one you originally said was Dayanara, who is the goddess of the hunt, wild animals, wilderness, foraging. But you had said before that you were trying to find something else because you thought that was a little too on the nose, or you wanted something a little more unique. Mm-hmm. And that is one Phoebe, who's playing a druid, is associated with Dayanara. But that doesn't mean that you can't do it. It just means if you do... I'll probably want to find some way to kind of tie your characters together, which wouldn't be too hard to do. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going through the other ones, see if there's something else that sort of makes sense here. Because I know you were originally mentioning that you're kind of wanting them to be a little, you wanted most people to be different, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the ideal, but at the end of the day, I think it's more important that people play characters they want to play. So
okay, fair enough.
And like I said, I can just, if you guys choose the same god, I can just kind of tie you guys together, and then it should work out.
Let's see.
Somewhere I had a list of which gods had which domains.
Well, I have them here. I have your player's guide at least.
Yeah.
So.
But I had them like by domain, like hunt domain. Here's all the gods with hunt domain, but I don't have that. Must be downstairs.
Oh.
So let's see if there's any others. Dayanara definitely does. She might be the only one because I actually made the domain for her. Because some of them were kind of lacking in domains.
18's a lot of gods.
That
would have taken you a bunch of time.
Yeah. It's really twice as many as I wanted to have, but yeah, she might be the only one. I mean, I could always stick it on someone else if there's another god you really like. But I mean, if Dayanara is the one that fits your concept, then
it's either her or I was looking at like Elandria.
Yeah. So yeah, she's the god of knowledge,
right? And
civilization. So that would fit the archaeology thing.
Side of it.
But she's not really associated with the hunt domain so much.
Not so much, no. Okay.
So, like, where are you at with the, are you 100% you want to do hunt domain, or is that?
I kind of do. I liked that.
Okay.
It kind of worked well. So yeah, you know what? I'll stick with Dayanara, and I guess me and Phoebe will just have to have some sort of connection.
Okay. Because Elandria is also, Brett's character is following Elandria, so it's kind of the same issue there.
Same issue there. What gods are not taken? I could.
Let's see.
You could backdoor something in.
So, well, I'm curious. What's your? So you're an archaeologist by trade.
Mm-hmm.
So how does like Dayanara like fit into your character concept? Like, how did that?
I guess
factor in.
Like, I guess I sort of created the two parts a little separate from each other, but the idea I'm having is that one doesn't just hunt for animals. One can be, I'm constantly been searching for things, right?
Okay.
Finding, it's like hide and seek. Is there a god of hide and seek? But
there is not.
There's not a god of hide and seek. There we go. But there's your 19. But no, like you can be on the hunt for something that doesn't necessarily mean that you're stalking through jungle with, trying to kill something.
Okay.
Is it more metaphorical? Maybe that would tie in a bit better with the archaeology side of it.
The other thing I could see is, I mean, she's the god of the wilderness. So as an archaeologist, you're going to be out in the wilderness a lot. So it could be a thing of like kind of what you're saying, I think, is maybe you feel like she helps you find places that are covered by the jungle or whatever that you can't see, or.
Exactly. You have like hunt, wilderness, foraging, like all of these things sort of make sense in finding that which is lost, uncovering secrets, that sort of stuff.
Cool.
So, yeah. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
You know, it's funny. I feel because you said something, and maybe this was before you came up with the archaeology part, but you said something in the beginning that you thought Dayanara might be too obvious and you want something less obvious. But I think actually the obvious god for your character would be Elandria. So I feel like Dayanara is the less obvious choice.
Yeah. Right. Well, because the focus is more on the background than on the class, I guess, at this second.
Yeah.
So
because Elandria is civilization and history, which would totally tie in with archaeology.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, what else would, just looking through them real quick.
Yeah, sort of popped through them quickly.
Another possible one might be Morgana.
Travel, trade, diplomacy, commerce, language, communication.
As far as the language part of it, because usually archaeology, you're studying like ancient languages that are no longer spoken and stuff like that. So that can maybe fit.
Actually, that one works really well. I like
the travel
especially
side.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense to me. I like that. Right, and that kind of works well with the idea of things in decline. In the archaeology on whole is in decline. Morgana is on decline. Everything's this tearing apart of the world has not been good for many things.
This is true. This is true.
It's almost like you planned it that way.
Yeah. Now she does have different domains. She's got knowledge, life, and travel, which travel is another new one.
That's a domain
I came up with. Yeah, it's a new one I invented.
Oh.
Let's see what that one is.
Travel domain. Yeah.
So that domain could fit because you get survival, you get comprehend languages, pass without trace, dark vision, tongues. Lots of stuff that would be helpful in exploring things. And eventually you can read people's minds.
Always. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, that isn't so much associated with archery, so I don't know how big.
Yeah, I kind of liked that part of it. I'm going to be honest. Although that doesn't tie it ties the two parts together a little bit better, which I kind of like. From a character, like from a cohesive level.
Yeah.
I feel like the two parts, the subclass and the background were fighting with each other a bit.
Yeah.
This kind of makes sense. No more languages. definitely more of like a skill monkey sort of character.
Yeah. I think actually some of these I kind of copied from the knowledge domain, which is what that domain's all about. So this is, I think, maybe not. I don't remember. It's been too long.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. Yeah, I don't know. For some reason, it just kind of works, but it doesn't grab me hugely. I think. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Knowledge, life, and travel. Well, I could be nice, and I could do my cleric nice and buy the book and do. Is life and healing pretty much the same thing?
Yeah. Life is the uber healing one.
Right.
So,
no, thank you.
It's pretty much your generic cleric, I feel like, you know.
Yeah, I'm good. I don't want to be that generic.
Knowledge, you get lots of skills and stuff, I think.
Probably.
I feel like I seem to remember thinking knowledge was kind of awesome, but I don't remember what it has.
I could look at it. If only we had a book that had all this information.
I know, if only. Oh yeah, it's the first one.
Languages, some more skills. Basically, knowledge of the ages is pretty similar. Starting second one, you use your channel divinity to tap into divine. You have proficiency with a chosen skill or tool. Read thoughts is the same.
Ooh, visions of the past would be cool for an archaeologist. The 17th level power.
Somebody's thinking far into the head.
Where you basically take an object and you see visions of things that happened around that object in the past. That's kind of cool.
It's kind of cool.
Or an area.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know what? Let's do it. Why not? Because you have I can speak with dead. That's handy.
It actually is really handy.
It's a really handy spell. It's like ridiculously handy.
Yeah, you don't have to take prisoners anymore.
No. I played one game where standard operative procedure was open door, fireball inside, and then speak with dead everything afterwards.
Yeah, I play a cleric in a game I play in, and he uses that spell a lot. And a lot of times one of the other characters will be like, oh, we need to take a prisoner and leave one alive. And I'll be like, don't worry about it. We can talk to them if they're dead.
I've got that problem solved. There you go. That's a nice cleric.
Yeah. So if you went that route, as far as the archery thing, you can use a crossbow.
Yeah, it's the hunt domain really gives you a lot more.
It's like ranger. You get a lot of ranger spells.
You get a lot of ranger spells and a lot of like ranger competencies, right?
Yeah, like tracking and stuff.
Like tracking and everything that kind of made sense in the wilderness as well, which is what I kind of liked about that. So, I think I'm going to stick with what I was going to do at the beginning, if that's cool.
Yeah.
And I'll just give me a little time to think about how I can tie all this stuff together. I'm sure I can be somewhere.
Hunt domain and Dayanara, right?
Dayanara and an archaeologist as a background.
Cool.
Yeah. I'll do stuff.
Yeah.
It made that fancy sheet you have kind of break. Oh, no, actually, archaeologist is in that sheet.
Oh, cool. they must have updated it with that. Cool.
I guess they did. So that helps.
So here's a thought. So
yeah,
your background is kind of usually represents like your life up to this point.
Right.
So maybe it's a thing of you were an archaeologist, and like you said, you were basically fired because the department at the university closed down or downsized or whatever. Yeah. And so maybe at that point you actually started going out in the wilds on your own, which like nobody does, but you were like, well, I'm going to prove myself. I'm going to go find some site and explore it and get people excited about this again. And then I can get my job back. And maybe that's when you kind of started, maybe that's when something happened that connected you with Dayanara. And that's when you started learning these more kind of woodland abilities while you were out there kind of on your own trying to survive.
That makes sense to me. That makes sense. I guess it could have happened like, I could be fired. I was sort of thinking that I was fired really recently, but I could have been fired a while ago.
Or it could have just been like a couple months or something. It didn't have to be super long ago, but long enough that you've been out in the woods a little bit.
Yeah, no, I'm fine with it being like a year or two. It kind of makes sense if you're going to change careers, if you would, to have a little bit of lead time between them, right?
Yeah.
Get a little bit of skill and training. I technically am level 2. Most people never make it to that scale, right?
Right, so, yeah. And as a cleric, I mean, you're like super devoted to this deity. So for you, it's actually a patron deity. Like a lot of the people, I'd say, it doesn't have to necessarily be a patron deity. Like I worship this god above and all others. It could just be you feel like this god has taken an interest in you, or the god really.
Could I have found a temple to Dayanara? That like a long lost temple in the woods that, that would sort of tie it together.
Yeah. So are you thinking it was like the ruins of a temple or a temple that's still functioning?
Like ruins. I think the ruins of a temple. Right. And so I've been spending my time studying and getting in touch with Dayanara and as much sort of history and lore within that goddess as I can, because I'm trying to, as an archaeologist, that's what you would do, right?
Yeah. Hey, I got an idea on that line. So yeah, let's say you were out in the wilderness exploring, you found this ancient temple and you're like, this is it. This is what I've been looking for. Yeah. You start exploring it and something happens, like maybe the ground gives way and you fall into a chamber, or you're exploring a chamber and it like caves in behind you, but you're basically like trapped in like the, what would it be? Basically the sanctuary of this temple, and you're like buried in there. You can't get out, and you're like in there for days, and you run out of food, you run out of water. You're starting to like, hallucinate from starvation and dehydration. And so finally in desperation, because what the hell, maybe it'll work. There's like this statue of Dayanara in there, like where the altar is. And you start like praying to it, asking her to like save you because you're going to die. And you actually see a vision of the goddess, and she like rescues you and like gives you your powers as a cleric. And
yeah, that totally works out.
That can
I like
cool.
that. Done.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah,
I like it.
This is great. these are why these preleads are good.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So what else can we go from there then? Things that sort of need to be made sense. Is there some sort of, I'm trying to think of other things. I'm looking through my character sheet just to sort of fill in holes. And when I plug this in, apparently I learn, our archaeologist gives me another language.
Cool.
Is there some sort of ancient Primordian language? Like the equivalent to like Latin would be now?
Yeah, I'm sure there would be, like kind of like the old version of Common, basically.
Yeah,
or
like
whatever language is spoken in the region.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there could be. Do you want to take that as one of your languages? That'd be kind of cool.
It would be thematic. I don't know how useful it would be, but it would definitely be thematic, right?
Well, I mean, if this is this would be something I would just do. It definitely makes sense, and it's something I've kicked around the idea before. If there's like an old tongue that like nobody speaks it anymore except for scholars and stuff, like Latin, basically.
But yeah.
And then anytime you guys went into some ancient ruin, like everything would be in that old language.
Exactly. That would be great.
Which you speak, which would be convenient.
Which I randomly speak. Yeah. So I'm just gonna say it like Proto-Common, like whatever the original sort of like language base of it, going back an obnoxious period of time, and we can always, if you come up with something that's better than that, which I really hope you do.
Well, for now, let's just say people call it the Old Tongue.
Old Tongue? That works too.
That's not like the technical scholarly name for it, but that's what that's like the common term for it, what people would actually say in conversation who aren't archaeologists.
Well, those heathens.
You guys would probably call it like Middle Elandrian or something like that, right?
Middle Elandrian.
Or old, like there's like Middle English and Old English and.
Very good. Very good. We'll call it the Old Tongue. That works out well.
Oh man, I keep messing up my pronouns. His and her, it's so hard.
There's two of them. Good. And human gives me another language. What's the most common, like, other races that are around?
In Elandria, it would probably be Elvish would be the most common non-human language spoken in the city.
It kind of would make sense then.
Because yes, there's actually a few elven families that are part of the city. And the queen is actually a half elf. So it's kind of, Elandria is actually kind of a combination of human and elven culture. So.
Okay. Well, then that makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Cool.
So you saw that you're starting at level 2, right? Sounds like.
Yep.
And you get a +2 to your constitution above and beyond everything else you get. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Okay.
I did see that. So
and there's
that's
a different point buy. Did you see that?
I did.
Okay.
It's
30 points with a minimum of 10 in your stuff.
So no
8s.
No stupid min-maxing.
Well, you can still min-max. You just can't go lower than 10.
And above 15, I guess, is
right.
Standard, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so it encourages a little more averageness, I guess, instead of having that one thing you totally suck at.
Right.
Let me think. What else?
I'm trying to think. It's 14, it's 15, 14, 13, 12.
11, 10.
11, 10, right?
If you do the array, yeah.
Yeah, which is always handy. Nice and simple. Okay, we're going to do new.
So also, everyone is getting a magic item to start out with. And the idea behind this is this should be something that's really tied into your character concept, like your favorite magic item. Like even at level 20, this is something you'd want to hang on to because it's, something really that almost kind of symbolizes your character. So for you, it could be a bow, right? Because that could be.
It could be. Now with my background, there's this comment about as I look it up, where you get like a special. You get a signature item.
Oh.
Is part of the rules for it. Cool. And so it's like a crowbar or a hat or a shovel or a whip or something.
Cool.
Like they very much just went through, like watched the Indiana Jones movie. Like, what can we do with that?
Yeah, that's funny.
So as much fun as the classic 10-foot pole and carrying that around everywhere you go would be fun. I'm wondering about a there's a hooded lantern, a medallion, a shovel, a sledgehammer, a crowbar, a whip, a hat, or a 10-foot pole.
Well, this is something. This is.
And I thought I might tie the two together, right?
Okay.
That was why I was sort of thinking about it. If I have a signature item, it would make sense that I would want to keep that. It's something from my past. Now, I don't know how that could sort of work from a magic item, because I don't know what a magical, lantern would be like. But I guess like ever-burning torch kind of thing. But it didn't really scale terribly well over time.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and that's something with these items is you will have opportunities to increase their power as you advance.
Okay. In that case, I don't mind the idea of a bow that was sort of gifted to me. Maybe I found it in that temple.
Yeah, or maybe the goddess herself gave it to you when you had that vision. Like as when you swore yourself to her as a cleric, she like gave you this bow.
Yeah, I would be fine with that. That would work well.
That could be cool.
Like the bow of Elandria. Or no, the bow of Dianara. That's it.
That would also be kind of cool because I could see like you're not really sure if you saw like an avatar of the god or if you saw an angel or if it was just a dream in your head. But it's a thing where you wake up and you have the bow. So it's like, okay, it must have been real because I have the bow, but I'm still not sure if it was really real.
Right. Well, and I am sort of academic. I do require, I assume, proof.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which I kind of like that bit of, I don't know, conflict within the character of a particularly religious scholar seems kind of, or, that sort of interests me. So, okay, why don't we do that? Some sort of bow of Dianara. Am I pronouncing that right?
Yep.
Oh, there you go.
It's really just fiddling with the name Diana.
Yeah.
That's what a lot of these names are. It's like, this is like a Greek or Roman or German god, just kind of, he added or took away a couple letters and there you go.
There you go.
Yeah. But I mean, if you wanted to do like a lantern or something, I mean, there have definitely been magical lanterns in D&D that did all kinds of crazy things. So there's definitely things we could do with that above and beyond it makes light.
Right. Now, I am assuming that being that I am the only human in this bunch, that means every single other character has dark vision.
That's a good question. I'm not sure if they. I know. Well, let's see. The half elf does. The Azamar, I don't know. They probably do.
I think the tiefling does, doesn't it?
Probably.
Yeah, like dark vision is one of those things they just gave like
everybody. Yeah.
Fifth edition. I'm not sure if it was simply to avoid annoyances of like it's dark, but yeah. So I don't know. Walking around being the only guy who has like a big bright light that I carry around wherever I go in the darkness.
Yeah.
It's maybe not the best of things in the
true
scary world.
and there is a magic item, the goggles of night that basically give you dark vision. And it's not really a possibility right now, but once you join the guild, you can actually buy one of those for like 500 gold. So
that's not that
and that's
bad.
if you don't find one somewhere. So
right.
So that's a possible way if you just go, human, you could get a magic item that gives you dark vision at some point.
Right. Yeah, okay. Well, I think I'm going to I think I'll do a bow, and I think for my signature item then, I wouldn't mind. I'll take a shovel, actually.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, shovel is super handy when you're out in the woods.
Yeah.
Can I use a shovel? Can I use that as my can you use that as a weapon? so I don't have to carry around a one-handed weapon and a shovel?
You definitely could. I'm not sure if that would count as, that'd probably be an improvised weapon, which don't do
I was just wondering if we
damage.
could sort of count it as like, I don't know, a mace or something.
Like a pole arm.
Well, I'm picturing like not a huge shovel, like, a sort of, 3 foot long or.
Oh, more like a smaller, not like a full size shovel.
Mm-hmm. Like they have combat shovels in modern military that are, sharpened
like collapsible or whatever.
Yeah, collapsible and sharpened on one side. I don't need it to be collapsible, but I'm like, if I'm walking around with this thing, I may as well make it into something useful. Okay,
yeah, I'd say something like that. I mean, it would probably just have the stats of a club. I think it'd just be like a club.
I'm good with the club. I'm not shooting people anyways.
Right, you're gonna have your bow, which is really what you're about.
Which is what I'm really about. So I'm fine to just clapping somebody upside the head with my shovel, telling them to go away. So, cool. I have that. What else do I need to know?
I feel like I'm going to have to, at some point in this campaign, come up with a magical shovel, just because it's just too great of an opportunity to miss.
Hey, I love giving storybooks to my DM, so...
What kind of things could a magical shovel do? This could be something we haven't seen before.
It would be good at finding things that are buried.
Yeah, you could dig holes really fast with that thing.
It's like, what, the water telling sticks or whatever? Maybe it's, Look, I managed to find another chunk of ore. Ooh. Let's see. Other than that, I'm trying to go through the other parts of the character that kind of makes sense. At least to me. What else do you need to sort of know?
I feel like that's the
big stuff. I still have a few things I'm going through. That I wanted to know. Some historical knowledge. Oh, that's handy. I have historical knowledge. When I enter a ruin or dungeon, I can correctly ascertain its original purpose and determine its builders.
Cool.
Yeah, that's helpful. Personality, ideal, bond. I can go through that stuff.
I think your cat wants to play with us.
Yeah. He does. He doesn't usually like people that much, so you being a thing on a screen probably helps. Whenever I have anybody over, he sort of just looks at them and then runs and hides in the closet.
Yeah.
So he sort of defines scaredy cat. But at the very least, he's pretty cute. Yeah. So think of a name for my character, which is something I'm always shitty at. I'll probably just be you're saying that the heavier one armor is, the worse they are in this particular thing, or at least walking around in plate mail would probably not be a bonus to anybody.
Well, they're just, some of the heavier armors give you disadvantage on stealth.
On stealth, right.
But usually I'll probably use the group check, which is where everybody makes a stealth roll, and as long as half of you make it, you're okay. And it's kind of like the others are kind of helping out the people that aren't so stealthy. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely something to think about, but it's not going to be
that huge of a hindrance. Yeah. Well, I wasn't planning on walking around because clerics tend to be in sort of medium armor anyways, right?
I think that's their default. Yeah. Unless your domain gives you heavy armor. I think you have medium.
Which is, if I remember correctly, the hunt actually goes the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Bonuses for being in light armor. So,
yeah. Medium's probably the heaviest you'll wear. And you might even, depending how you build your character and what your dex looks like, you might even end up going light armor eventually.
Well, I have pretty high dex.
Okay.
Being one kind of should if one plans on firing an arrow at somebody.
Yeah. And that's the thing. As soon as your dex bonus gets past like +2, you're almost better with light armor most of the time because your medium armor only gives you a +2 dex bonus.
Right.
So once you get higher, it's actually better to wear light armor and get all your dex bonus. So
right. Well, that makes sense then.
So yeah. And definitely for like what you're wanting to do, I think light armor would make more sense if you're crawling around in ruins and running through the woods and stuff.
Yeah, that totally makes sense to me. That makes complete sense to me.
Oh, and so something I let people do is you get starting equipment from your class and your background. So you'll get some kind of armor, and I don't know what you get as cleric, but let's say it gives you like a chain shirt and you're like, I'd rather have leather armor because I want to wear light armor. You can basically sell that for like half the cost and then buy the armor.
Buy whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Well, and right, like I assume, I assume something like I technically have, like my class doesn't, the class description I don't think actually changes my equipment that I get, but I obviously get a bow. So I would assume that I will come with 20 arrows with it instead of having to sell my 20 crossbow bolts that I could get and then buy back arrows.
Yeah. So like for that, because that's a good point because this is a new domain. The third thing you get as a cleric is a light crossbow and 20 bolts. Right. So you could just switch that to a longbow and 20 arrows.
Yeah, that was what I was.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So it looks like you get scale mail, leather armor, or chain mail if you're proficient. So I guess you get a pick. They give you one of each. So, but honestly, I'd be fine with you taking studded leather because scale mail is going to cost more than studded leather. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I assumed as much.
Yeah. So.
All right. Cool. I will take some studded leather armor. That sounds nice.
Chainmail 75 gold and studded leather's only 45. So yeah, you could do that. Okay,
cool. Gives me a little bit better AC.
And then you get a mace or a warhammer, a priest pack or an explorer's pack, and a shield or a holy symbol. Or shield and a holy symbol.
Shield and a holy symbol. So I get a holy symbol, a shield. I'm just going to take my club, which is a shovel, which sounds pretty good. I don't know if there's a huge difference between a mace and a club. I'm assuming one is slightly pointier than the other. But we'll make it work.
And any of that equipment, like the shield, if you're like, I don't really need a shield, you can just sell the equipment for half the price. Anything that you don't want.
Well, I don't know. I'm sure I can just throw something on my pack. Doesn't really take up that much room.
Yeah, you might want the gold though. I don't know.
I might want the gold. I have been recently poorer, so being that I was fired from my poor job. Okay, so for skill sets, as far as other people that would be useful, I'm thinking like history and religion.
Cool. Those are good ones.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. It kind of made sense. Actually, I get history with my background anyways. So, insight. What is insight?
That's reading people, like knowing if someone's lying, figuring out like what their emotional state is.
Oh, all right.
Things like that.
Fair enough. That works out.
Yeah, reading body language, stuff like that.
Reading body language?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So
it's like perception for people.
Perception for people. Fair enough. Well, I'm insightful and not particularly perceptive. Well, I guess I actually have pretty good wisdom, so I'm pretty good for perception. Just even if I'm not proficient at it.
So your bow, I will give you, I'll come up with your bow and give you the information on that. Keeping in mind that it could in the future become more powerful than it is now. Do you have any requests as far as what you'd like your bow be able to do? Like, I don't know, like shoot flaming arrows or something like that. Is there anything specific?
I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. Flaming arrows would be fine.
That's a bow I've been wanting to make because I think that would be cool.
It would be kind of cool.
Now you don't have to get those special arrows that you light on fire. You just, the bow does it, you know.
Right. You don't have to bring a Zippo with you when you need them. Special arrows. I'm trying to think of how I could tie that together with Dayanara. Like, it's particularly good at hunting a specific type of thing, or that's...
You know, I have an idea for that. This will be down the road because this is kind of high powered, but they have arrows of slaying that like do crazy damage, like an arrow giant slaying or an arrow of dragon slaying or whatever. So maybe the bow could, like, every so often it can produce like one arrow of slaying that's whatever you want.
That would be cool.
So like you're going to go fight, I don't know, demons. It could make an arrow of demon slaying or something like that.
That would be cool. So it's specific, you know, it sort of makes you have that one clutch shot that would be.
Yeah. It like enchants the arrow when you shoot it. So you kind of like say a prayer to Dayanara asking for what kind of arrow you want, and it just becomes that as you fire it or something. That could be cool.
Okay. So maybe I'm trying to think of, like, maybe this is obnoxious bookkeeping, but that, like, if I want to unlock the ability to gain an arrow of some sort of slaying, I have to prove myself worthy of having defeated foes of that type before.
Oh, yeah, that could be. That sounds cool.
Right? So, you know, basically the bow itself gives me, like, basically hunt quests. Basically, like, you know, if you want to unlock a bow or an arrow of giant slaying, you have to have killed or been involved in the death of, you know, 10 giants, and then it'll power up itself and allow you to do that sort of thing.
Yeah, I dig that. And that's actually you're like on my brain wave, because that's what I was thinking to, like, unlock the higher level powers, is there would be some kind of quest associated with it. So that would be perfect for that. It's like, I have to go kill 10 giants and then the bow can make arrows of giant slaying. Like,
right.
That'd be cool.
That makes sense. Dayanara doesn't give anything for free.
That's right. You got to earn it.
Earn it.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think that fits thematically with the goddess of the hunt, like the idea, like almost like the sniper, like one shot, one kill kind of thing.
Right. Yeah, that's perfect. I like that.
It's like, instead of emptying my quiver, I just fire one arrow and it does the job.
How many arrows do you bring? Just one. Okay. Yeah, I'm totally good with that. I don't know what it would do now, but, like, you know, the hunter's bow or whatever we want to call it, and it'll get there as we go.
Yeah. It might start out just being like a +1 bow, just because at low level that's really helpful.
That is super helpful. Yeah, an extra damage and a 5% increase to hit. That's helpful. Yeah, especially considering everything is sort of really balanced.
Yeah, and also anything that has resistance to non-magical weapons, like you're doing full damage, which is nice.
Also nice. Yes. Cool.
Yeah, I think as of now, there's one other guy that we haven't done as Prelude yet, but as of now, you're only the second character that has a magical weapon. So, yeah.
There we are. Who knew I was going to be the cleric / damage dealer?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I play a war cleric, and he does pretty good holding his own with a fighter in the group. So
he would. Yeah.
They can do it. Yeah.
Clerics have always been good for being able to sort of do a whole bunch of different stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like they're pretty good generalists. So.
Well, I'm excited you're going to play test my domain, because I'm curious how this is going to work out. Like moving the cleric more towards the light armor and archery and away from like heavy armor and melee. Is this going to be awesome, or is it going to be weird? I don't know. We'll see.
I'm good with weird. So, right?
Weirdly awesome.
Weirdly awesome. Hey, we used to play Numenera together. That's almost how you named that. Like, weirdly awesome. Just, I don't know. Does that work? Maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So, okay. That kind of works for me. That magic bow. That's cool. I'm going to write that down.
So the only thing I have else to tell you is just a little bit about your sponsor. So the basic setup for this is, well, we know now kind of your backstory. So that's what you've been doing. You're not an adventurer. You're not a member of the guild. But this woman named Druinda, whom you know somehow, is gathering together people like you, people who are not yet adventurers, aren't members of the guild, but who are very capable and have specific skills, kind of Ocean's 11 style, to make this new party to do a job for her personally, which is to go to the east into the wilderness and look for this village that's rumored to be out there somewhere.
Oh, okay.
This woman is basically like kind of like a seer or like an oracle. She's a human woman, and all of her body that you can see is covered in horrible burn scars, and her whole, like where her eyes would be, is all burned away. And she's blind, and she used to be an adventurer, had a run-in with a red dragon, breathed fire on her, took out the cleric, and so by the time she was able to get magical healing, like the scarring was kind of done, and she lost her sight, but then kind of got like the second sight. Like now she has prophetic dreams and sees omens and all this stuff. So probably she maybe just saw you like in the streets of the city somewhere, and, well, quote, saw you, walked by you, maybe like brushed shoulders with you, and had this like, realized that you were touched by one of the gods and had some kind of powerful experience. And so kind of got to know you. And so she's kind of your hook into this. She's the one that recruited you to join this group. So, yeah. That's
a good start. I like that. You mentioned, I think I remember you talking about that before, but yeah, that's a really good fit.
Yeah. So probably most or all of the other player characters will be strangers to you. So
right. Except Phoebe and I.
Yeah.
Right.
So
about those do I know anything about the mystery cults at this point?
Yes.
Am I a member?
Yeah.
Okay.
So as a cleric, you can start out as a member of Druinda's cult. And that's a great idea, because Phoebe is a druid. So she's a member too. So that can easily be how the two of you know each other, because you've done stuff with the cult together, like rituals or whatever. Yeah. Yeah. So that makes sense.
That does make sense. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, as I say, is there any sort of thing that I should know about these cults, or is it just they're mysterious, they're dedicated to it? You sort of talked a little bit about it on the forums, which is good. So that gave me a little bit of background.
So I'm still working out the details now that I know which ones I need to focus on. But the basic idea is it's a secret society that you're a member of that's devoted to this one god. So I guess something I should explain in case you didn't hear it on the podcast or wherever is Elandria is very polytheistic. Most people worship all the gods. They don't just pick a god and worship it, because the idea is that the gods are jealous. And if you worship one god more than the others, then the other gods are going to be jealous. And, you know, it's like, yeah, you might get some brownie points with that one god, but now the other 17 are pissed at you. So
not good trade.
Yeah. So most people actually try to worship all the gods as equally as humanly possible and not show favorites. So for someone like you to say, I'm going to devote myself to this one god, it's really unusual. So even people that are members of these mystery cults, they still worship the other gods. They just, for whatever reason, have joined this cult for this one god. And it's kind of like our world. Like a lot of it's just social. It's like people to hang out with and have a group that you belong to and things like that. But they're very secretive as far as people outside of your cult don't even necessarily know that you're a member of the cult, and nobody knows outside of the cult like what they do or what their secret rites are like or anything like that. So
right, okay,
it's like a secret society, and the idea is it's an organization. You can do things for them and gain rank and standing within that organization, and as you get higher in rank, you'll actually get like basically like spell-like abilities.
Okay.
Kind of like coming from the deity itself that you can do, like, I don't know, like a cleric spell you can cast once a day or something like that. So there will be like mechanical benefits to it.
Right.
As well as like kind of RP, like political connections and stuff like that. And side quests, lots of side quests.
Side quests, lots of side quests. Good times. Okay, I like that. That's fun.
Yeah. So you and Phoebe will be members of the same cult, and Brett's a member of another one, and you can join more than one cult. So even though you're a cleric of Dianar and you're a member of her cult, you could join like the cult of Elandria if you wanted to, and be members of both.
Oh.
So
okay.
So that's a possibility too.
You could be very mysterious.
Yeah. It really come down to just logistics of, do you really have time to, you know, do all these favors for all these different groups and kind of keep your standing up kind of thing. So
yeah, that sounds tiring. There's 18 mystery cults out there, although I'm assuming some of them are extra mysterious, as like joining the god of murder or whatever.
Yeah,
it's probably not super encouraged.
Right, and probably not something people of non-evil alignments do.
Right. Well, you have a god of bad luck too, don't you?
Yes. And disease and pestilence and all that good stuff. So yeah.
Right. Also probably not high up on people's list.
Yeah. Yeah, there were a few of the gods I didn't really flesh out a whole lot, because I was like, yeah, your character, it's not really appropriate for player characters to follow this god in this campaign, because they'd be pretty evil probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like a god of murder. Yeah, it's like good guys don't follow that god.
No, probably not. At the very least, probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
Okay. That's cool. I like that. That'll be fun.
Yeah, so I gotta get to work on that. But you guys are all low rank right now anyway, so you
you got time.
You don't get any powers at the beginning anyway, so.
No. That makes sense.
But yeah.
Cool. I'm trying to think of what else I want to know. What do you keep doing away? Okay. No, I think that sort of covers it. Do we have? You spent a lot of time talking about the different like proficiencies that we should have.
Yeah.
And skills and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And party compositions that seem like we're there.
I think. Let me check. I think we are. People have picked pretty diverse. Let's see. Healing covered, survival covered, stealth, arcana. Yeah, I think everything's covered.
Nice.
The only thing I'm not sure about is perception. But I still have another prelude to do.
Oh, okay.
So that might be something when we get together next week, might be like, hey, is anybody skilled in perception? And if not, maybe someone wants to be, but it seems really unlikely that one of you won't pick that. So
that we have 6 characters and nobody actually ended up being skilled in perception.
Yeah.
Like the most commonly useful thing.
I know, right? The thing you roll the most in any game session, it seems like.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, you know what? No one's playing an elf. That's part of the reason, because elves get it just automatically. And usually at least one person plays an elf, but nobody else this time. Half elf, that's the closest we get.
Well, it's halfway there. Almost exactly. And then what do we have for other characters?
Let's see. Brett is playing an Azamar Paladin, Oath of the Crown, and he follows the goddess Elandria. She's the goddess of knowledge. Steve is playing a half-elf bard, College of Swords, and he's following Kalis, the god of war. Phoebe is a Furbolg druid, although you may not know she's a Furbolg because she can appear human, and I think she does that all the time. She's Circle of the Moon, and she's also follows Dayanara. And then we've got you, and Danielle is a Fire Genasi wizard, lore master, and she follows Hoppus, who's the beer god. And then Emmanuel is going to be a tiefling bard, College of Glamour, and he's following Baros, who is the god of music and art and all that good stuff. So
cool. So we've got a pretty good assortment there.
Yeah, we've got a cleric, a wizard, a druid, 2 bards, and a paladin. So everybody's full-on casters except paladin.
Right, so, and he even casts a little bit.
Yeah, so there are going to be spells flying everywhere. You guys, there should be nothing I can throw at you guys that you can't handle, because you guys have all the tools in the toolbox.
We don't have a fighter. We don't have a fighter. We don't have a rogue. So a trap, we're screwed. Yeah. All you need to do is like one pit trap, and all of us just sort of look at it confused for a while.
well, there is. I think there are wizard spells like detect traps and knock and stuff. So. Well,
yeah, but there's a wizard spell for literally everything.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, between a cleric, 2 bards, a wizard, and a druid, I think you guys will be able to. Do whatever you need to do. And you can always hire someone if you really need someone to pick locks. You could always hire a rogue NPC to.
I guess maybe we just decide that we're quite upstanding citizens. If the door is locked, it's probably locked for a good reason. Yeah. And we'll let them have their be to their piece.
The rogue could be like Short Round, be your young child companion.
His entire job is just to show up with the pick lock and then just hide around.
And to say, you call him Dr. Jones, doll.
That movie had some pretty major issues in it.
Yeah. Oh, well, it was the 80s. Yeah, we didn't worry about political correctness back then, I guess.
Less so, at least. Cool. Okay.
Awesome.
I think I've got most everything I need. I'm going to finish up my character a little bit. I have a few little steps to still do, but and then I'll post it up on. You just want me to throw it on the Google Drive?
Yeah, in that character sheet folder.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Perfect. Cool.
Awesome.
Anything else you need?
No, that's it, man. It sounds great.
Great.
I'm excited.
Awesome.